Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to learn about how to create a TCP scanner in Golang and what problem does it solves if we are using a concurrency in this TCP scanner, right? So the goal has been divided into three parts. First is understand the basic implementation, loop through a range of ports. It may be any number of ports available. And what challenges does the point 2 gives which we can fix through Golang concurrency, right? So let us start with the first thing, which is about understanding the basic implementation of TCP scanner, right? Let me give a host, and the host name which I'm going to use here is scanme.nmap.org, right? So this is a host which I'm picking up where we will be seeing if we are using the scanner method of TCP, right? Does it returns what are the ports connected or not? Great. Now I want an address. Now an address can be with a port number also. So I need to define a port number which I'm expecting this host should be available with so that it can connect, right? So I'm going to use net package, net join host. I'm passing the host and the port number it is expecting a string. Let me pass a port called 22, right? Now how I derive the number 22, I know that on 22 port this will open, so that is why I have put there, and that is the reason it is a basic implementation, because we are going to see this loop number second point, how are we going to loop over a range of ports, right? Now what I need to do here is I am to create a connection, and once I get the connection, my next thing is I need to dial this thing. Use the net package again, and my network string would be now address. My network string would be now TCP because I'm looking for the TCP connection, and my address is address. Great. Let us handle the error. If error is not equal to nil, let's just pass return only. So my connection, what does it contains? The dial method contains a connection and an error, okay? And this connection is as of an interface type which has this read, write, close, all those remote address, right? What we are more concerned about the remote address, because I want to just check what is the IP in respect to scanme.nmap.org, right? If I go to the remote address, I can see it's kind of a network. It's again an interface which has a network and string. And if I go to this string, I can see that it has some IP of like this and with a port number, which I'm more interested, right? So to implement that, let me just type that same connection dot remote address dot string. So if I'm going to run this program, let me just check. Great. So I can see now that this DNS name resolves to port 20 with port 22 it resolves, right? It get connected. So now let us try to understand on the second point, how are we going to loop over a range of ports, right? So for that, let us create a function actually. Let us give a name called scan port, which checks a port as an integer as a argument requirement, okay? And what it does is I would be modifying this thing a little bit. Let me first copy paste here. So what I need to do here is this port, which is now a string, right? It won't work if I'm using in a loop, because this is a string as an expected. So I need to convert this to string. So for that I need this string conversion package actually, which is strconv.iota itoa, right? Sorry. So here I would be passing the port number, okay, and I'm just keeping it blank for now. Let me just write the main thing here. Now we can do like this. For example, if I equals to 1, I less than say 100, I plus plus, okay, and right inside the loop, and which will run for 100 times, okay. Or we can do one more thing, which is like a range operator. So we can do like this. I equals to range, and I'm looking for 100, right, and that's the integer. So range will make this plus plus incremental thing automatically, okay. So what I did is I just taken a slice of integer which is of capacity 100, okay. It basically does both the same thing. So what I need to do here is, once it's done, I would be scanning this port and my input would be this I. Now I is an integer here, right? And why I use this string convert.itoi package, because it helps, it takes an integer, as you can see, it takes an integer and it converts to a string. Earlier we have a string of port 80, right? Like here we were having a port of say 22, whichever is 80, 22, right? Now the question here is, this is a string. Now here we will get the integer, like first port number will be 1, second is 2, third, fourth, and all those things, right? It's a string, this will be a problem. So for that reason we need to convert it, and we will be converting here. So I will be giving this port because the port is taken as an integer, right? So my program is expecting a port which would be of integer type, correct, and rest remains the same. Now let me also modify this print statement now a little bit, so it will be looking good, you know. So let me just say connection established, okay, and I will be saying, say on the port, on which port it is getting connected. So I will be giving a %d because port is an integer type, so %d would be representing that, right? And the entire response, this address, right, this will return this address which is of string type. So I would be looking for a string type also. So I will be giving say %s, which is for string type, and let it be here with a /n. And once this is done, right, all I need to do is I need to print out the port what I have coming here, and the connection dot remote address dot string, okay. Now let me print out this, right. See, if I make a time here, I can see how long will it take. Great. Oh, it takes around 18 seconds, right? Great. Now we are going to apply concurrency on top of it so that we can reduce the time, and that's why the golang concurrency comes into the picture. So let me just remodify this code. Before that, we just add a little comment to our scan port function. Always a good practice to use comments. Okay, so now if I'm going to use a concurrency, what we're going to apply here is we're going to use a wait group function. So wait group is pretty useful here. We are going to use that. So let me just add some wait group things here. So okay, so I'm adding a variable wait group, okay, and inside the loop I'm going to increment the counter by 1, okay, and once the loop is completed, I will be making the wait, because the main function is also a go routine, right? It should not get closed, right? I will be using the go keyword in front of the scan port function, okay. Now it looks simple, but there are still some work is referring. So I need to make that wg, that is wait group done method, okay. Now because unless and until that method is completed, it will be not happened. Now you can see here wg is not coming, so I need to add wg which would be a pointer to a sync package, and now it is happy. So now our scan port is expecting two variables. One is the integer port and is the wait group, right? So we can pass here the wait group as a reference to the pointer, right? Address reference basically. So if I do this, okay, so let me just check the scan port is the same. Yep, I think this will run. Let us check. You can see it has taken a little less time, though it shows 16 seconds, but it's more faster, you know. And let me just check now, say instead of port 100 655 say 35, that's the last number, right? Let me just see how long will it take for that number to come. So you can see now that it has completed scanning across all the ports and it has taken around 1.31 seconds. So the goal here is simple, you know, if we are going to use a normal for loop, it is going to take a more number of time to scan across all the ports, whereas golang concurrency helps us with that parallel go routines, right, which can, you know, they are not blocking each other, right? They can simply execute on different ports and give us a result. So that concludes this video today. I hope this video is informative. Thank you for watching.